I really think the spirit of what Edgar and Joe created from the beginning is still very much a part of the DNA of the movie. Sorry, Paul, I didn't leave much for you to say.
No, I think you covered it all.
There's a gentleman here in the front row. Thank you.
Hi. Fantastic movie, by the way. Really, really enjoyable. Great job. Now my question is kind of to everyone. But, so when creating personalities for these characters in both acting and directing, how much inspiration did you actually draw from the comics, and in as far as the personality is concerned, and if not from the comics, other places that you drew inspiration for the personalities?
Well, I may be sort of the resident Pena. I'm not sure. Like, were you a comic book guy?
There's no comic book that I know of called Luis. So it was somebody that I'm portraying somebody that's actually lives in Chicago. He may or may not be a criminal, may or may not be in jail. I cannot say. But his name is Pablo, and actually I have a little video.
He may or may not have introduced himself to me at the premiere as your brother, right? That guy?
I can't believe, he's not my brother. And no, but it's this guy who I think is just funny.
Dude, I met cousins that I fucking never met from Christina's other side of shit, bro.
Oh my God, that really is.
It really is.
That really is.
Look at this.
I was like, I've been with Christina 20 years and shit. First time I meet you. I like, you know what? It's gonna take
Still
a long
smiling,
time
he's
to make the other
complaining.
fucking happen shit, man.
He's complaining and he's totally smiling. And that's, a couple times I think he said, I'm like, I think you're going a little bit too much. I'm like, no, I think it's, because he sounds kind of like a caricature.
And that was key to your character. Was Luis is a character who, from the very first time we see him, some bad stuff has happened to him in his life. Obviously, he's been in prison, but his girlfriend's left him. His mother died. His father's been deported, but he's still so positive.
But I got the van.
He's got his van.
Nice van.
But that's such a rootable quality in a character is someone who, in the face of all this adversity, is so positive. And I think that's something that we really, throughout the course of making the movie, developed, because Pena was so good and so funny in the role.
But it was just, it's just this guy. I mean, he's literally like, you can't make this guy up, Like, I remember a couple years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I'm like, hey, what'd you do this week? And he's like, oh, I went to jail, dog. Who does, meh.
Fair enough. And Paul and Michael, do you want to engage, answer that question as well?
What was the question again?
What was the question again?
Inspiration.
Oh, right. Well, the idea of Scott doing everything that he does for his daughter is from the comics. And that's the imprint we used for the film. That said, when we were working on the movie and writing the script and all that, it's kind of thinking of it as its own thing. And I think both Adam and I felt like if we ever veered too far from something that doesn't make sense in the Marvel Universe, or something that isn't true to the comic, or true to these characters that have been created, that they would rein us back in.
And Michael?
Well, I was not a comic guy or kid growing up, so I didn't know anything about this. They were kind enough to send me the script of Ant-Man along with a leather-bound copy of 2 years of Ant-Man comics, which I could digest. And so we talk sort of like two-dimensionally about these sort of superhero movies, when in reality, as I was looking through these comics, my goodness, here's Hank Pym, very brilliant scientist, warrior, created this incredible factory, a building, the Pym Foundation, technologies, all of this. Wife was involved with him, lost her. I mean, there was more backstory for Hank Pym than any of the so-called, reality movies that I might have done. So I had a pretty good blueprint to follow.
Fantastic. There's a gentleman here in the second row. Thank you.
To Mark Douglas. As if you have not read so many comics in your childhood as we hear, or in your youth, what did you read especially when you were very young? And then you entered the new world with the Marvel world. Before, as you have got the offer to do this, what was your thinking? Because this is a lot of techniques and all that.